Hey there everyone, Spuffles here from the Atlas game Catherine as Catherine. I just wanted to do a very special video today and a super personal one. So if you're interested in what's been going on in my life this past year and a half, feel free to continue watching. If not, I'll see you in my next cosplay vlog. So I wanted to talk a little bit about chronic illness in this video and also invisible illness. Now, as some of you may know, those who follow my Twitter probably know, I suffer from a disease called Crohn's disease. Now, Crohn's disease is a chronic condition, which means it will be with me for the rest of my life, and it is an inflammatory bowel disease. Since it's an inflammatory bowel disease, it's invisible because just by looking at me, you can't tell that I'm sick. But I've been suffering from this disease for the past 2.5, 3 years. But I was only diagnosed a year and a half ago, so I've only just started getting medication for it. Thankfully, we did catch it when it was in a mild state, so I'm mostly in remission. For those of you who do not have a disease, when you're in remission, that means that for the most part, you're healthy. You don't show all of the horrible symptoms that you normally would when you have the disease, but because you have a chronic illness, you can go out of remission at any time. And with Crohn's disease, that basically means I'm fatigued all the time. I had really, really bad diarrhea. I'm sorry, Crohn's disease is something that people don't normally talk about, which is why I'm doing this video, since I think there is a stigma against inflammatory bowel conditions. But yeah, I'll go into more of that later. So basically, I had lost 15 pounds because everything went right through me and I was fatigued all of the time. I had zero energy. I would just wake up and I would be completely drained. I couldn't do anything else. And I'm really happy that I got diagnosed. People who have Crohn's also can have really bad cramps. If you're a woman or someone, who has their period, then you know that period cramps are really, really bad sometimes. And if you have Crohn's, it kind of feels like really bad period cramps. Thankfully, I don't have I don't have a form of the disease that is so severe that I need steroids to treat it. There are some people that have to go, into the hospital for Crohn's, and they have to take all of these medications, and they have to take steroids too. I mean, for me, personally, I take 8 pills a day, which still kind of sucks, but thankfully, I do not have to take the steroid medication that you get, when you have a more advanced form of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, because the two of them are sister diseases. And basically, when you take steroids, it doesn't really fix your problem. It puts you in remission, and then it causes a bunch of other health problems. So I'm always kind of anxious and a little bit depressed because I never know if my disease will progress to a point where, I have to go to the hospital and I have to get either Remicade or Humira. Those are some of the big drug names, and they're the ones that a lot of people who suffer from Crohn's and ulcerative colitis take to manage their disease. I wanted to talk a little bit about invisible illness too, because Crohn's is an invisible illness since just by looking at me or by looking at someone else who has the disease, when they're not in the hospital and, when they're not gravely sick, you can't really tell that they have an illness. And I think that there is a huge stigma against people, who have these illnesses. And then, people look at them and then they think, oh, you're not sick, you're just, doing this for attention or whatever. Or, oh yeah, well, someone who broke their arm, or if they're in a wheelchair, then they're more sick than you are because you can see their sickness. And if you have an invisible illness, not everyone knows that you're sick. Like, you would only know that I have Crohn's if, you know, you talked to me or I told you, or I guess if you watched this video. So there's definitely a stigma against that, you know. I just wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about my experiences and to invite any of you watching out there, if you have one of these illnesses, please feel free to leave a comment, and I will gladly talk to you about this, because I definitely think that we need to have a support system, you know, for everyone in the chronic illness community who has these diseases, especially in the cosplay community, since, you know, when you put on all that makeup and you put on your cosplay, you can't always tell if someone has an illness unless it's very explicit, like, you know, someone broke their arm and they have their arm in a cast, then you can see, oh, they hurt themselves. Or, you know, if someone uses a walker or if they have a wheelchair, you can see that they don't, you know, they are not completely healthy. But, you know, I think that we should definitely, you know, reach out to others in the community and let them know that, hey, it's alright to be sick. It's okay if you have a chronic illness and you want to talk about it. You know, I know that not everyone who is able-bodied can put themselves in that situation and understand that, yeah, you know, some people, they have to take medication every single day just to be alright. Some people, they wake up and they have zero energy at all and they can't do anything. It's not because they're lazy, it's because they have literally no energy. They just wake up and then it's like, might as well just stay in bed all day because I can't even get out of bed. Thankfully, since I've been taking my medication, which is 8 pills 4 times a day, I've been feeling a lot better. But being a member of the cosplay community and going to conventions, it's a little bit of a hassle. I try my best to take care of my health, but I know that if you have a disease where you have to take medication every once in a while, sometimes you forget. Or, you know, if you're sleeping over at a convention, sometimes you don't get enough sleep. And if you have an illness and you're compromising your immune system by not getting enough sleep, that is not okay. And I'll talk a little bit more about Crohn's before I go into more general stuff. The thing about Crohn's is that your immune system is basically attacking itself. With Crohn's, the immune system is in overdrive, and the reason why you get ulcers, which are just giant lacerations and cuts in your intestine and your colon and, you know, the other parts of inside of your body, is because your immune system is basically attacking your cells, and because it's in overdrive, it attacks them so fast that they can't, you know, regenerate quick enough. So you're left with giant ulcers, and that's where the bleeding comes from. For me, I had a big problem with ulcers and a lot of problem with bleeding that I know wasn't normal because I wasn't on my period. So definitely, if you have any of these symptoms that sound similar to mine, get yourself checked out. I thought that it would go away. You know, I was like, oh, maybe in a month or 2 I'll get better. No, it just got worse over 6 months, and I'm like, okay, I definitely have to go to a doctor. I won't talk too much about the colonoscopy and everything, because that's another conversation for another video. But yeah, definitely, if you have a chronic illness, it's really hard, because sometimes I feel unless people are also sick, then they might not understand where I'm coming from. And they may not understand that sometimes I just get really fatigued for no reason. There's this great thing called spoon theory. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but spoon theory is for people like me with chronic illness and invisible illnesses. It's for everyone who has some sort of, you know, disability or illness. Spoon theory is basically the notion that you start the day with spoons, and spoons are units of energy. So let's say you start the day with 10 spoons, then you use 1 spoon to take a shower, 1 spoon to eat breakfast, another spoon to do the dishes, you know, another one to do the laundry. and then before you know it, you're out of spoons for the day, and then you just have to lie in bed, or you have to like sit down on the couch and relax because you have no more energy. And it's not because the person is lazy, it's because, like me, their immune system is working so hard, they just have no more energy. They physically cannot do, what they wanted to do for the rest of the day, so they have to rest. And I think that spoon theory is something that's really great. If you have time, I urge you guys to check out spoon theory on Wikipedia. I'm sure there's other pages too. I just go to Wikipedia because it's just like got everything there, but definitely check that out. I was talking with one of my friends who also suffers from chronic illness, and they wanted to start a Spoonie cosplayer group. Spoonie is what we call the people, who have disabilities, and we just refer to them as Spoonies because spoon theory, Spoonie, it sounds cute, so that's like the term for it. But yeah, I was thinking that we could start like a Spoonie cosplayer group for anyone who has any sort of disability or condition that, they just feel like wiped out at the end of the day. I'm sorry, I'm like talking at 1,000,000 miles per hour. But yeah, we definitely want to start a Spoonie group, and I think it would be great because I met a few cosplayers that have Crohn's disease, and it's just really great to be able to talk to someone who knows exactly what you're going through and who has the same fears. One of my biggest fear is ending up in the hospital and having to take a steroid like Remicade, and having that steroid affect my vision, or it can affect other parts of your body. Like my friend's mother took Remicade and her fingernails fell off because of the steroids. She got, her Crohn's was managed, but like the rest of her body, it was like destroyed. That's the bad part about taking steroids. But after the other medication doesn't work for Crohn's, sometimes you don't have a choice, which is why I'm hoping one day they find a cure for Crohn's. Right now, it's classified as a chronic illness. Unlike when you like scrape your knee or you like break a bone, eventually your bone will heal, or your scrape will heal up, if you like cut yourself, eventually that'll heal. But if you have a chronic illness, that means that even if you're not showing the signs of your disease, you still have that disease for life. So that was a very big cause of anxiety for me, because I was reading up on all of the statistics and everything that it was something like 75% of people with Crohn's have to go through surgery at some point, and one of the worst surgeries you can get is when you get your colon taken out and they have to put a bag in there so your intestines are connected to a colon. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, but as someone with Crohn's, I am very, very worried about that potentially being in my future, and I just feel like if we get a Spoonie group out there, we can talk with other people who have the same kind of diseases that we do, and we can air our grievances about stuff, because a lot of the time when people look at me, they think I'm perfectly healthy, and they don't realize why I might need more rest than the average person, or why sometimes I need more sleep, or I just physically can't do things. It's not because I don't want to, it's just because I have no energy and I physically can't. So it would be a great resource, and it would be amazing to talk with other people that have any sort of chronic illness. I totally urge you guys to reach out to me, especially if you have Crohn's, because then we could trade Crohn's stories. Man, mine isn't too exciting. It was just that when I was in college, my final year and a half of college, I just started having the symptoms that I mentioned before, the fatigue, the extreme weight loss. I pretty much lost 15 pounds because of diarrhea, every single day. And, the malnutrition just wipes all of your energy out. So because of that, and because, I kept on losing weight, and I just kept on feeling really miserable, I went to the doctor, and then I realized that what I have is something actually pretty serious. Like, I would love to talk with other people who have similar conditions to me so we can trade stories and trade tips on how we're handling our conditions. I just wanted to let you guys know that you are not alone. I am always here to listen if you would like to talk. I do have a little bit of anxiety about talking with newer people, so sometimes I kind of avoid conversations if I can. It's just because I get anxious, and if I don't know someone, it's a little bit harder to talk with them, but I will do my best to listen to everyone, who wants to talk to me. I'm here for you guys, and just want to let you know that you are not alone. You are more than your chronic illness, and you are, like, even if you have your invisible illness, trust me, there are people, in the same situation as you, and if you're at a convention and there's like a few thousand people, there's bound to be at least a handful of people who have similar conditions to you, and it'd be great to be able to talk with them and, just bond over stuff like that. I find it a little bit hard to talk with people who have no idea about illnesses or like remembering to take your medication. It's just the little things. Like, before I got diagnosed, I really didn't take medication for anything except, like an Advil for a migraine or like Tylenol for period pains. But now that I'm stuck on my medication, 8 pills 4 times a day, I'm a little bit sad that, I have to take it, but I know that I just have to, or else I might end up in the hospital or worse. But yeah, I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit. I just want to let you guys know that you are welcome to talk to me anytime. At conventions, I was thinking about doing like Crohny vlogs. Crohny is what you call a person who has Crohn's disease. It's like, I guess, a cute little term that we coin for ourselves. I like going in the Twitter tags, like the Twitter Crohny tag or the Tumblr like Crohny tag, and it's cool to see other people that, know what I'm going through. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching my video. I just definitely wanted to open up to you guys and let you know that, if you need an advocate, then I am here. Like, anytime you want to talk, I'm here. But thank you guys so much for watching my video. If I make the Spoonie Cosplayer group on Facebook, then I'll probably link it somewhere on one of my many social media. And just know that you guys are definitely more than your invisible illness. You definitely can live a normal and productive life, and I hope that you stay in remission, because everyone likes being in remission. Trust me, like, the best days are when I'm in remission. I'm just like, yes. Yeah, I hope you guys stay in remission, like, forever, and thank you so much for watching my video.